I don't like how everyone's so okay with getting rid of like Russian stuff. Corporations canceling people out of Russian civilization, all that stuff. Because if you think like people are clapping this like, they're just going after like Russians right now. If you think that it'll not eventually turn to you, you got another thing coming, because you're going to eventually not agree with the state about something, and the state's going to go, well, you can no longer access your funds because we deem you as unsafe or spreading misinformation. And I think that's what I'm most scared about, is how many people are just clapping all this stuff. Like they think it's like a good thing or something. It doesn't make any sense to me. 100% same concept with the Canadian truckers. Exactly. Like I couldn't, all these leftists, like I get you're a leftist and you're for the state, you're for state authority and state power, but I don't know. I'm for freedom. Call me crazy. All these people, even old school liberals, are clapping it. I just can't. I don't understand some of these old school liberals who are just totally okay with censorship, totally okay with getting rid of people's bank accounts because they have a different political opinion or medical opinion, or they don't want to put something in their body necessarily. Like I thought it was like my body, my choice. And everyone has like these double standards in political parties. You expect that. You expect double standards with politicians, right? Because they're gonna lie to you. They're gonna change their message always. They just want to always look good no matter what. They're never gonna come out and say what I did was wrong or I should change my thought process on this. They're always going to lie and change their narrative in order to make themselves look good, and they'll point to the other person saying, "Look what you made me do." But I don't understand why so many of these leftists are clapping some of this stuff, because they think that it's not going to affect them one day. Yeah, you might be pro-vax, you might be pro-COVID vaccine, you might be pro-LGBTQ rights or something like that. But what if the power changes? What if not your guys in power and they have all that power and they decide, you know what, after everything you've done to me, we're going to do it back to you. Good luck. Defcon says, good luck to those people with the bet that you always agree with the government. Exactly. You're never always going to agree with the government. They're always going to change. People are going to change. The narrative's going to change. They'll get more aggressive, especially with their freedoms. They always want to take the freedoms away, because when they take the freedoms away, then they have more power. And the more power they have, the more secure they are in their position, so they can do whatever they want. And people just clap this stuff like it's a good thing. Get those anti-vaxxers. Get those idiots who are honking and making my life a living hell, instead of pointing the finger at the government. We live in such a weird time. Weird time of people that I feel like don't understand history, don't understand what communism does, socialism does, what it eventually looks like. They don't want to look at countries like Venezuela. That country's doing it wrong. I know those citizens are starving to death. We should go get oil from them, though. They're good people. Well, they have oil, and it might be cleaner, morally, it feels like, than Russia at the moment, because Russia is bad and Venezuela is okay. We don't have to talk about it. It's not the mainstream narrative at the moment. Or we'll go to Iran. No big deal. It's not like they push gays off buildings. I don't get it, man. I know we're getting more and more divided as a country, and there's more people on different sides of the spectrum. But I've always been for freedom. I don't care what you believe or what you think is right. If you want to take 1 million COVID vaccines, take it. But to tell me what to do is another thing. To dictate how I live, to dictate how my kids live. Not that I have any kids at the moment, but if I did have kids, to dictate how they live, what they're taught, what they're to believe. I'm not supposed to have an opinion, and I'm not supposed to have an idea of how I want to live. I just need to just listen to what the church, the pastor, aka Joe Biden, has to say, and I just follow his command no matter what. They're the moral authority of the land, and as opposed to me having my own consciousness, me having my own thoughts. That's a problem for me. I think that's why you're seeing a lot more conservatives, especially, lean more towards this anarchy idea. Get white-pilled, show my black flag, because they don't trust, like me. I don't trust the government. I don't trust. The more I feel like I'll just vote this person in because they'll change things. They'll give me more freedoms back. They'll leave me alone. It doesn't seem to be that case. And then we have people on extremes. Then we have our neocons, neolibs. I just feel like A and B is never the answer I want. I want C. I want freedom. I want you to leave me alone. I want to be able to choose and do whatever I want to do with my money, do whatever I want with my body, do whatever, teach my kids however I want to teach them. Let them grow up and live the way that they want to live. I want to grow up and live how I want to live. I want to be able to buy a house. I'm sick of like government overreach into corporations, into policies. They make my life worse, and they pretend like they're better. I put more faith into myself crawling out from a hole than a government putting their hand down to me and saying, "Here you go, Derek. Here's a hand. I'll help you up this time, but you got to give me something in return." DEFCON says the more division, the easier to control and manipulate the masses. Exactly. That's why they constantly want to divide us. That's why they constantly want to put us in different camps. That's why they want to say they call you an anti-vaxxer or call you pro-Putin when you're not that at all. Anti-vax, that's so silly. Yeah, DEFCON says also Democrat and Republican is just illusion of choice. Exactly. Of course, because they're going to say one thing to get into power, and then the minute they're in power, they'll change their message. And then you're in a position where you're either Republican or Democrat, and you go, well, I got to keep still voting for someone like a Lindsey Graham because I don't want that Democrat guy going in because he's absolutely insane. So I guess I'll just settle for this piece of crap, essentially. And maybe it's on the other side. And so you just, like, you're a Democrat and you hate everything that's going on in the Democratic Party in your state. You feel like they don't speak for you. So you keep voting in the same crap because you're scared of whatever Republican is coming in that totally disagrees with everything you believe in. And so you and I are just stuck. And then the media and politicians wonder why you and I are getting more annoyed with each other because we feel stuck. We feel flustered. We feel agitated. We feel we have higher anxiety. We're annoyed. We feel like we don't have a voice. We feel like we don't have a choice. And that's the problem. I don't know what the solution is, but I do know there's a problem. And it seems like anarchy, national divorce is an idea that might work, but people are afraid of it. People see it as, oh, that means civil war. It doesn't necessarily, not everything's war. I know everyone assumes war no matter what, but a lot of us feel like we're in a rock and a hard place, you know? But that's it for my stream. Appreciate you guys coming on. DEFCON, appreciate you for in the comments coming in clutch at the end. Sorry about my rant the last 10 minutes. It's kind of came out.